This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perk, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This is Jam DeMatteis, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of Capes and Lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
The comics world may be shut down, but we are back week after week to bring you any news that is left in this post-apocalyptic world. Welcome!
The armadillos are loose.
I know. Well, Hellfire was just here and she just flipped off. But anyway, welcome back to the Capes and Lunatics, episode 153. That's the way Little Hellfire demands we say it. I am Phil. Joining me, the ever-growing, ever-pretty facial hair from New Jersey.
Charlie, the Professor Esser, a man from a state that is not a peninsula, and thereby somewhat saner than yours.
And Queen of the Armadillos from her stronghold in that peninsula called Florida is...
Hey, y'all, it's Little Hellfire, and I think if Gotham's based on you, I don't think you can claim that.
What?
If Gotham is based on Jersey, I don't think that he can claim that.
Ooh.
Oh, that we're saner than Florida?
Yeah, I don't think so.
What I will tell you is that basically... Yeah, Batman don't go to Florida.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true.
Batman's like, no, that's Swamp Thing territory. I ain't going. Thank you kindly. That's why I founded a whole Justice League Dark. Just handle Florida. Swamp Thing, go see what that is over there. No, you know what, Lilith? What I will say is, growing up in Michigan, and people who don't know this, Michigan is basically Florida North.
Well, the lower peninsula. Let's leave the upper peninsula out of that.
Let me put it this way, Lilith. If you lived in the lower peninsula, you know them guys up north ain't right. You know that's
they're like the Hicks of Canada, low key. But yeah,
just because they're quiet don't mean they're right, okay? Just because
it's up there, I know. You hear a little banjo in the distance.
Exactly. That it don't show up in the newspapers doesn't mean it's okay. You know, that's all we say down south, man. But yeah, but that is my theory. You know, that if you live on a peninsula, because of the feng shui of having water on all three sides, it causes problems for the psychology of the state. People in that state, their feng shui is never right. There's never a flow. It just gets all bogged up in that water energy because the water energy has nowhere to go. I imagine if you're in a landlocked state, people get pretty crazy too because, again, nowhere for it to go. Except sometimes you'll get a river or something or a lake or something that's going to help it. But like if it's just water on all three sides...
I don't know!
That way lasts madness. Anyway.
Already on track.
I'm just saying, you know, this is important science.
That's from a quarantine mind.
Lent is over. He's been in that apartment for a month.
Mm-hmm. The apple juice is flowing freely.
You should. In a couple days, listen to beginning of Super Connectivity. He was instructing Tristan how to wax your mustache.
Well, the difference between when a woman waxes her mustache and when a man waxes his mustache. That the two things have separate meanings, though the language is similar. Those wouldn't know. She's completely hairless.
Whoa!
On that note, good night, everybody.
Like the armadillo, she rolls over.
Capes After Dark.
Usually on a Friday night, it's me. I'm glad that Charlie has picked up the torch, and I can just kind of sit back now.
Wait with a big whoa.
I'm just, if she is Queen of the Armadillos, like the Armadillos, I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, so let's talk some news.
Sure.
What's on your pretty little mind, Philip?
All right, so Lilith, Captain Morgan. Well, of course, we all saw this coming. They canceled this year's San Diego Comic-Con.
I think they pulled the trigger on that a little too soon, but fine.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go anyway.
But I think all through the rest of this year, they're going to be like, they're going to be like frowning on big gatherings. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's what.
The reality is you can say they pulled the trigger on it too soon, but the reality is there's so much prep that goes into building it out.
Yeah.
Trust me,
especially if they can't get that prep moving
now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it doesn't happen in one day. It's like, the nerds show up in one day, but, getting those nerds there, that's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, and again, it's like, this whole thing is, the droplets and, bunch of sweaty nerds, thousands of sweaty nerds all in one place.
Well, most of them are wearing masks for cosplay, so there's that.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Although, along those same lines, Burning Man is also canceled.
No.
They're actually giving refunds.
Hippies. I'm kidding.
What's your dog called?
I was one of those filthy hippies, Lilith, and I resemble that remark.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's a fun place. It's good. Everyone should go. Back when it was cooler. It's not as cool as it used to be.
Because you're not there, Charlie.
Hipster alert! Hipster alert!
I'm just saying.
Look at him playing with that.
I love the thing, man. I have a love-hate relationship. My biggest problem with it is my pica. I want to eat it. And it's why I mostly keep this still here, because I can eat this instead of that. And so, once this is gone, I don't know how long that's going to have to last. I hope I can build it up enough. I speak freely about my pica. It's, there's no shame in having pica.
Keep your pica to yourself. Anyway, we got a lot of announcements on this Diamond thing today. First of all, Diamond said they are shooting for a mid to late May return of comics, but impatient little buggers that they are, DC is planning a shipment for April 28th and using two different distributors depending where you are in the United States.
This is definitely a little thumbing their nose. It's been a lot of backstage squabbling about this whole situation. I guess that is an interesting development that needed to happen a long time ago.
Is this the beginning of the end for Diamond?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think the other companies are going to work out. In the end, monopolies rule this world, especially the U.S.
No,
so.
You know what?
Are DC and Marvel going to strike out on their own though?
Now, if Marvel leaves, that'll be the thing.
Yeah. Now that DC's done it, if they lose Marvel too, yeah.
And they're going to lose because first off, Marvel's not going to let DC have 2 weeks ahead of them.
Yeah.
Let's just, they don't want me sitting there saying, okay, what's DC putting out that I can buy? What of this? Because next week DC's got books.
Exactly.
And I'm going to have to say to my comic guy, okay, give me this, and this. Marvel does not want me doing that.
And again, Marvel has Disney behind them. They can do this. If Disney can do this. If DC can do this, Marvel can do this.
Oh, to be fair,
if they
Netflix is more profitable than Disney right now, but and Warner's is no AOL Time Warner is no slouch. After all, they have AT&T as part of them as well, so they're a pretty big company, Yeah, they might. They are one of the three global conglomerates. That.
It's just, when you just say Time Warner, though, people just think media, but like when you start digging deeper, there's a lot of subsidiaries groups after that.
Kenny Parking was a powerhouse. People forget it was all Kenny Parking.
But I kind of knew this was coming because again, I saw on Wednesday it's been a couple weeks. I stopped into my comic shop. I bought a trade and I bought a Funko for Luca, supporting my shop. Like,
you say, the lifeblood of any comic book shop now. Yes.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, like most of his, he had like regular issues and a lot of trades on sale for like 25% off because they need the money at this point. But
no, well, you're lucky that you can still walk into a comic shop. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of people can't. But he told me, he said Marvel and DC had both contacted him. I don't know how recently, and said, hey, if we ship you books soon, can you accept them? Do you want them? He's like, yeah, send them. I need the money. Yeah,
Yeah, well, this is what a lot of people forget about this industry. It is, it is built on these small entrepreneurs' backs, and that social, cultural reality that, I think that's one of the things that killed the digital first idea that was put out there is a lot of, I think Marvel and DC said, you know what, that's going to hurt our small guys. And for what it's worth, a good company knows you're built on the backs of the small guys. You don't take care of your franchisees, as it were, your entrepreneurs running these things, then your business falls apart. So,
and again, I mean, like my guy was saying, he's like, oh, the guy who runs Diamond. He's like, he has the money. He could have, I mean, I guess it was a hard situation because it's like some of the stores were closed, some of them were stayed open.
Yeah,
but it's like basically. Well, I heard. Okay, here's the thing. I heard that one of the factors of them deciding on this shutdown was I don't know, was it the week they shut down? I guess every other company was ready to go with their books, but I guess does DC print their books in Canada, Lilith? Because I thought he said DC couldn't get their books out of Canada.
I don't know. That's news to me, but it would make sense.
But supposedly Marvel and all the other small guys were ready to go with their books, and DC couldn't get their books to them to Diamond. So they were like, "Oh, it's not fair," that. No,
it's not fair to hold everybody else up for poopy DC. Just saying.
And again, it's DC. You're going to hold up. Yeah, you're going to hold up every other comic company for one company.
Yeah, and,
although they're probably like the number two. They're probably their number two best customer, though. Too.
Although to be powerfully fair, there is the secondary argument that a lot of comic book stores that can't be open, that don't have a loyal pull base.
True.
That they were going to wind up with books they couldn't sell.
That's true. I mean,
but that then is on Marvel and DC to be nice to them.
Yeah. Not
up to Diamond to make that choice for Marvel and DC and them, which is why I think that Diamond finds itself in the rough spot it does today. Because, and didn't you post something a few weeks ago about the CEO of Diamond just went to some healthcare company?
I don't think it was I don't think it wasn't the CEO. I think, but it was executive. I think. Here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, because I just
a top man.
Well, yeah, top men are on it. Indy, don't worry.
Yeah, I'll look because Simon's marketing director.
Okay. Oh well, so that's a nobody.
Yeah, it's not the CEO.
I'm sorry, marketing directors. Unless your business is built on marketing, your marketing director doesn't do a lot. And not for nothing, when you have a monopoly, you don't spend that much on marketing.
And again, unless you're a comic book nerd, who knows?
Well, you do great poems, so they don't talk trash about you. That much I'll tell you.
Well, yeah, fair enough. You do have to do damage control, but
and with Diamond, it's a lot.
I can imagine, yes.
But yeah, I mean,
but then again, maybe this guy wasn't very good at his job because look at where they are now.
Should Diamond have given the stores a choice? Should they have called them starting that week and say, "Hey, do you want us to keep shipping you books, or hey, do you want us?"
No. Well, here's what Diamond should have done: is they should have been the liaise between Marvel, DC, and the small guys.
Yeah,
and they should have said, "Look, these guys, if I ship them books, they can't sell them. That's money out of their pockets. Don't kill these guys with your books."
Well, I think that's what DC. I think that's what they said DC is doing. I think the first week, it's not going to be like everything that was going to come that week, that first week of the shutdown. I think they're going to start slowly and then build up slowly.
Yeah.
back
but
to
that's the
regular
thing.
levels. Yeah.
But that's the point. This is the kind of this is the point of a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a benevolent monopoly, you got to be benevolent, and you got to show how your benevolence helps everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Diamond had stood up there as the one, as the person who could be the leader of the comic book industry and earn their keep, then not to use a political analogy, but let's say that a country had an incompetent leader, and it fell to all of the smaller people to try and figure out within their locality how to handle a crisis. Now, in that situation, those smaller groups are going to find a way to handle their own crises, but it doesn't help the country as a whole. Now, in the country of comic books, Diamond is kind of that central authority. Diamond is the people that needed to step up and say, look, between you guys who are making these books and you guys who are selling these books, we're the connective tissue. We're going to sit here, we're going to find a way to make it so that everybody wins. We coordinate all of our efforts, and we all know what we're doing. And then everyone would say, yay, Diamond, this is why Diamond needs to exist. Diamond is the best ever. And we would all never question Diamond's authority again.
And it only makes common sense.
But because Diamond was not like that, and was run rather poorly in this sense, that Diamond now may not exist in a year and a half.
No. Or they're not going to be doing.
No.
They might not have the business they have from like Marvel and DC.
They won't have any business.
Okay, so I didn't know Transcontinental Printing was in Canada, but okay, yeah, that's the main print.
They couldn't get them out of Canada yet.
Well, regardless, what it comes down to is so if you have a monopoly, and then someone says, "I could do that for you," and then you go to that guy who's now desperate and hungry because he now has work. And then Diamond comes back and says, "Okay, I'm back, everybody. Let me take all your books again." The guy who you just said could carry your books for you, he says, "No. You can go with me, and I'll do it better. I'll do it cheaper." And that's what happened. To use the carrying of books analogy, let's say the person who carries your books home every day stops carrying your books home, and then some other guy comes in and says, "Hey, let me carry home your books." And then that guy keeps on carrying home your books, and then the other person says, "Hey, you know what? I decided I'll come. You can give me your books again, and I'll carry them for you." The guy who's now carrying your books says, "Hey, man, I was there for them when you disappeared, and I'm gonna let them do stuff that you never would, because I'm a better book carrier than you are." And they're gonna carry those books right to the store with a smile on their face. And the person who used to carry the books, well, no, you don't get to carry the books no more. It's just that simple.
I think that all the comic book people have to get together and say, "Hey, we're going to freeze our Diamond for that to work too." Though
they've already done it.
I didn't know if the smaller companies needed Diamond.
Yeah, the companies too.
I didn't know if the smaller guys needed Diamond, but if Marvel and DC jump ship, anyone else who can probably will.
Well, that's the thing. Is that here's the thing. As I said before, Amazon is more than happy to ship your books and give you a digital copy too. Amazon, right now, if you went...
everybody's on the Amazon bandwagon now, are they?
I'm not saying everyone's on the Amazon bandwagon. I'm just saying Amazon just sitting there with Comixology.
So deal with it.
Amazon is sitting there with Comixology and a nationwide distribution network, and they're sitting there saying, "You know what? Hey, you want us to deliver your books? We'll deliver them, and we'll undercut Diamond because we can, just for the heck of it. You want digital codes? We'll give you digital codes. We'll set you up, Or you can do You can do a digital copy and a physical copy too. Whatever you want to do, we can set it up because we're freaking Amazon." And we are a dominant life form in this ecosystem. And for what it's worth, they're actually somewhat good at it. For lazy people, too. You don't even have to be good at what you're doing to work with Amazon. You can be super lazy, and Amazon will say, "You know what? we can let you be lazy and still get you paid.
You can be serious without your pants on.
I do it often.
Well, yeah, I've been home for a month. I'm sure that your pants haven't. I'm sure pants haven't touched those uncensored buttocks the whole time.
I'll be honest with you.
Super going to for that joke.
It's a little chilly in my apartment. You know, I do live in squalor. I don't deny that.
Chill. Oh, okay. Chilly.
And so it does get chilly. Yeah. So sometimes I am forced into pants, not by choice but by necessity.
The flannel underwear.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I think Diamond is done. I think if Diamond comes out of this at all, it is as one of several distribution hubs for books, and I think, not for nothing, Diamond pretty much has to find other people that they can distribute books for.
I think Diamond really cut their throats when they unilaterally decided to just shut everything down without talking to everybody. So now,
yeah,
DC, but now DC and maybe Marvel is going to be like,
suck it.
Well, as I said, it's, if you use a political analogy, someone who unites a lot of fervor can rise to the occasion and be a better leader. But if they are not a better leader at their core, they won't lead people to a better place. They will lead people to a road of ruin and destroy their legacy in the process. And I think Diamond has destroyed its legacy in the process. They could have stood up and found a way. They could have anticipated what the problems were. No matter what they had heard from anyone else, they could have done their own independent analysis and said, you know what, it looks like trouble's on the horizon. And they could have found a solution that would have made things better for everyone.
That's been my gripe with Diamond for years. They're not in an adaptation. Because they didn't have to.
Well, but
turns out they did.
Everyone has to adapt.
Speaking of lazy.
Yeah, you know who didn't have to adapt?
15+ years. To rest on their laurels, and they have a very flippant
in the
attitude,
money.
Collecting the money.
Yeah.
Just sitting back, collecting the money.
They were Oldsmobile.
And probably come up before fall. So there you go.
Well, exactly.
Blow it all up.
The
big bazooka.
That's my motto. Let it burn.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Wine ball or bust.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right. So, have we talked?
Diamond was your friend.
Out of the gooch.
Time in the trolley melts the snowman.
Whoa! What? Yellow snow? What?
You were still breathing time and the trolley.
Snow cone. Don't.
You were still breathing, so I assumed you were okay. Yes. No. Time and the trolley melts the snowman. It's a phrase. It's a turn of phrase. It's, of course, the original phrase is a malaphorism. It's a malaphorism, but the original idea is time and the trolley waits for no man.
I don't know what's going
on. But the original malaphorism is from the critic, was said by the senile father. But I've always felt that it held a lot of weight to it as well, because it really emphasizes the destructiveness of both time and the trolley. That both will, in fact, melt the snowman, destroy it utterly. So never assume it's your friend. Never assume time is on your side. Because both time and the trolley will melt your snowman.
Hey, where's that out of the drop? As a matter of where's that out of the pop drop?
I didn't get it yet. Ray. Oh, yeah, Ray laying on your deathbed. Lilith wants you to work while you're on your deathbed, Ray.
Just fall to your mom, press record, and then send. It's fine. It'll make you feel better.
I'll get to it, I swear. He's probably got a fever. He's got the shingles. And it's just like, Ray, why aren't you working for Miss Lilith Hellfire?
Oh, does he have shingles, man? Oh, no. Shingles, no. You can't make fun of shingles, man. Shingles are the worst. It is literally, a herpes virus on your nervous system.
Where have you been spending your nights, Ray?
No. That's first off, the herpes simplex is a very common disease. That's literally what chickenpox are.
Out of the gooch.
And so, no, but it is, and not for nothing, not to be all dark. You could actually die from that. And actually, literally every human being who's ever had chickenpox could theoretically die of it, because if you get a herpes simplex on your brain, you're dead. So, don't die.
Yeah. Ray, please don't die on us. And Ray, please don't die on us. But can you leave ITK to me in your will? Thank you.
Have a word with you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be morbid, but I'm being honest. It's
the apple juice.
Look, man, what, you want me to sugar? It's like this COVID-19.
Oh, yeah, crazy Australian squirrel.
Everyone in the world says, oh, COVID-19, it's this and that and the other. You know what? Yeah, you might live, you might be on oxygen for the
Aren't
rest
you
of your
glad
life.
you're in the audience tonight, Ray?
No, I'm just saying it's one of these things that could kill us, and every human being on the planet, except for like a certain generation when they invented the chickenpox vaccine, can die of this.
Hey.
Like literally, Philip, have you ever had the chickenpox?
Yes, Charles, as a child.
Okay. You realize that chickenpox virus is still within you. It can mutate at any time, and it can literally kill you.
I'm a mutant. Mutant and proud.
It's not a joke, man. You can literally die of it.
As a child.
Okay.
Wait, what? Someone say I had the herpes virus as a child? I was advanced for my age.
But this is why like the chickenpox vaccine was this amazing creation that like scientists were like, they actually made a vaccine for the chickenpox. This is a game changer.
Wait a minute, look at this.
And no one even realizes it.
Do you see what Ray's writing in the chat room? He goes, Charlie is so smart. I needed to Google all of this.
Yes, it is actually true. The chickenpox virus you had as a kid opens you up to a billion different ways to die. Not for nothing. The genital herpes that people talk about. That is actually just the herpes simplex. Cold sores that people get. I mean, I'm lucky that my family has a genetic immunity to more advanced versions of it. Famous last words. But, we don't get cold sores. It's just a weird thing. I don't know why. But when you get a cold sore, that's that same simplex virus. And if it ever connects on your nervous tissue, that can kill you. And shingles is awful.
Ray, I'm putting in the show notes Ray and his specific type of herpes, right?
Well, no, hey.
No, I'm joking.
Dermatosis.
The more you know, the more you know, Philip.
I'm not familiar with the term dermatosis, no. But, here's a fun fact. If you have shingles, you can actually give a little kid chickenpox. So stay away from small children that have not been inoculated against chickenpox.
Is Finn been... Yeah, Finn. Yeah, has Finn been inoculated? Finn has been. Good.
Good, yeah. So, see, you have saved Finn's life. Today, you saved their life.
Vaccinations, people.
Exactly. That's like people like begging for grant money are part of the cabal of conspiracies. The lizard people don't have time for that.
Out of the pouch. Lil just needs that in audio form now, Ray.
Tristan has a lot of opinions on the lizard people. Anyway, where were we? Vaccinations?
Yeah, all right. Enough.
This is the conspiracy hour. Birds.
All right.
Birds
All right.
must exist. Do not tell me bird law is a fallacy, Lilith.
All right. And
There is canon on this.
enough of the conspiracies and Ray's personal life. All right. Let's move on.
Oh, movie that we'll be reviewing next week.
Cameras
Well,
for Lilith. No, apparently that's what Lilith thinks too.
Little Hellfire.
So you believe that the birds are cameras for the for the lizard people? Lizard people.
The Lilith people. Armadillos. Lilith
I'm
people.
just saying, hairless.
Just like Little Hellfire. It's there. The proof is there. Ray is cracking up.
Connected.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Super connected.
Hey, Charlie, did you hear Queen Lilith I has made a unilateral decision and says we're reviewing a movie next week for Capes?
What is that movie?
Code 8, starring
Code
Stephen and Robbie Amell.
Code
She
8.
said-
Where can I find Code 8?
She said it's on Netflix.
Okay. I will watch Code 8.
Oh, I'm
Doesn't
sorry. I
disappoint
want
me.
Disney Plus, DC Universe, Amazon Prime. CBS.
That's your subscribing to the enemy. That's your problem.
I can hook you up, Phil.
Oh, please! Please! I got Queen of the Armadillos, Master Pirateer over here.
Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, sorry, Phil. Sorry that I should try to help you. You know,
No.
I resent any offers of help. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it, but the master hacker over here is always 3 steps ahead of everyone else.
Oh, also, I'll have to send you guys the link to the short film because I don't know if you remember when he was still on air. It was like season 5 or 6. Him and Abby were working on it, and they did the short as like a proof of concept. So. And then they're also going to get a supposedly a series spinoff over on Quibi that I will not watch because Quibi is like terrible.
Oh, is this like the Marble Hornets kind of thing? I don't want to watch another Marble Hornets.
What?
The Marble Hornets. Slender Man.
Oh.
Good nutrition and the monster in the background.
This isn't Lil Life. No, this is a movie.
No, I'm just saying, you know.
Lilith recommends it. Lilith wants to review it, so it can't be that
Okay,
bad.
no, that's fine. Yeah, we will absolutely Code 8.
It's number 2 on Netflix when it debuted, so we have to talk about it. It's a cultural. If it makes it to the top 10 in Netflix, it's a cultural touchdown. Apparently,
Nothing
that's
too
the
scary
rule
for
now.
Charlie.
Wasn't in my algorithm, but okay.
Yeah, but it's
I guess it doesn't have to do with cooking shows or
Legends or Arrow or any of that stuff. Do you on Netflix? That's probably why it's not in your algorithm.
Mostly we use Netflix for cooking shows, but yeah.
It's like,
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Nailed It, and most.
well, you guys,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
well, you guys need to do a podcast episode with Danielle. She loves the cooking channel.
Yes, Nailed It. Nailed It is a cultural phenomenon. See, Nailed It is a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
If we were to talk about Nailed It, yes,
Australia.
there's deep lore there. There is deep lore there. Oh,
All right, while we're sending requests, Ray, send me a drop to of you go, nailed it.
okay.
Lilith, send
Speaking
me
of
one
deep
like
lore,
that, too.
I'll give you the option. Do you want to save Rescue Rangers for next Super Connectivity, or talk about it now?
Lilith, do you want to talk about Rescue Rangers being in the larger DuckTales universe?
You can say that for super connectivity.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't let me forget it next week, Philip.
Okay.
Which now leaves Black Widow toys and other things, but of course, all those can rotate again into next week. But next week we do get new comic books, so
Is that next week?
I'm just saying, Phil, this is your show, so you pick the next topic.
No, I don't think we get comics for 2 weeks, Charlie Esser. The 22nd. Next Wednesday will be the 22nd.
Oh, okay, sorry, 28. You're right. You're right.
I'm the one.
I'm so desperate for new comics.
Well, Lilith, what were you saying?
I said, too bad, it didn't fall on 420.
No, that's Monday.
I know, who wants 420 on a Monday?
Well, good news. You don't have to call in.
Because she got high.
Yeah.
Because she got high. Because she got high.
I mean, not for me. It's
sure,
just
Lily.
for everybody
If everyone
else.
but you,
I don't
sure.
do that stuff.
Well,
I'm not a this college
But you had to bring up
anymore.
420s on Monday, Lilith.
For the people, we know our audience, Philip, or at least I know.
well,
I know.
technically, I brought up that it was Monday.
Lilith, my beautiful wife, just walked in the door and brought up the point. The whole month is 420.
Exactly. Like I said, this year, the whole month of April has been 420. So, you know, there's
Captain Australia, what are 420s?
Oh, so 420. So this is a very fascinating etymological discussion.
My sweet summer child.
So 420 was basically when a certain group of kids got out of school and could smoke pot.
Yes, they're
in Southern California.
The marijuana.
Yeah, and so they would say it's 420, and it meant that they could get out of school and could smoke pot together. Somehow this idea, this statement that, it's 420, spread much in the way that so many early memes did through a social network of young people.
Wait a minute. Ray, are you serious? He says we call it 320. Are you serious?
Oh, well, I guess
that's when the kids get out of school.
Yeah. Oh, you had me.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's Australia. Everything's backwards there. Who knows?
Even the toilet water is backwards.
You know, I mean, it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that in Australia, kids smoke pot earlier. So, you know, they drink beer earlier, so possibly they smoke pot earlier.
Hell, everybody drinks earlier than America.
So,
without a doubt.
If we're done with that smoky little hellfire. All right.
Watch some Scooby-Doo on Monday, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, those dogs will be talking to you. Anyway, did you see, which you should have because I put the link up, I guess LeVar Burton is in talks for Picard season 2. Which, why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be almost evil if they didn't have him in talks.
And I don't think, Charlie, you didn't finish season 1 yet, right?
I haven't. Yeah.
Lilith,
it's a slog. It's so Bob Hart's Abishola. That's all I'm saying.
Lilith, we won't spoil it for Charlie, but shouldn't LeVar Burton have been in that season finale of Picard?
I was actually a little disappointed. Yeah. I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, you can spoil it for me. I'll pay for another month because they gave me a month for free, but it's
all
like,
right.
you know.
All right, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. I mean, while Picard's mind is waiting for its new android body, he's like in the system with, I guess, what's left of Data's mind, and Data's like, I want you to like delete me. I want to die.
I want to be sick.
That's lame.
Well,
okay.
I'm just saying, Geordi should have been there. If Data's quote unquote dying, Geordi should have been there.
Well, true, but I mean, obviously, there's some kind of nonsense about why we're in. I don't know why Data's in a gods. So let me just
mysteries.
Science fiction authors have a very hard time with both the concepts of software and hardware, and it used to be so back. So let me just
not quite
take you back to the 1960s. AI was a hardware issue, which is essentially how they designed the character of Data, which is that, you need a positronic network to make a hardware AI. Now, modern sci-fi looks at AI as a software issue, that you need the programming running on the system to give you an AI, and that you can use a non-AI system to create an AI software.
A big unit.
In truth, You actually cannot have a true AI without a system capable of processing the AI, meaning the hardware and the software to process that can actually do the program of the AI.
Not quite soft and not quite hard.
Yeah. So basically, any idea of the AI going out into the internet or the ether or whatever and existing as a coherent entity is stupid, because without the hardware upon which the AI runs, it is literally just code, which they literally addressed in Next Generation when the one guy puts his mind in data and then it just becomes useless code. Because because without the freaking hardware, you can't run the program.
Not quite soft and not quite hard.
You need the hardware. Now they've done this thing because apparently now Data is all nanobots for reasons. He's like, oh, if you have one piece of the positronic network, it'll
back. You could broker them.
Yeah. No, that's bad nerding. You are a bad nerd, Star Trek. Go to your room. Go to your ready room and wait. We'll tell you when you've stopped being bad.
Out of the gooch.
So I'm not a big fan of Picard.
Wow.
Well, you know what? You really want to push it. I'm going to tell you. Why it's bad. Because it's bad.
Those new.
It's freaking J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Let's pull.
Hey! It is not that bad. You take that back. Nothing as bad as Jar Jar Abrams.
Nice.
Damn it. Nothing. And I'm not happy he's directing a Justice League Dark TV show on HBO Max. I'm not happy.
Hey, Lilith. Breaking news. Did you hear? Those beer distributors in New Jersey, their profits just went up like 200% in the past week.
You're the one that just sent me Beerim on Go, so I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to help you with your hobbies.
Who cares?
You seem to misunderstand that although I do like quality beer, I also prefer quantity beer. And so...
That's a Venn diagram that doesn't meet too often.
I am a big believer that they can, and there is a small sliver of cheap, good beer in which I live.
Good Lord.
If it's not Bacardi Silvers or Smirnoff Ice, I don't care.
I'm sorry you're a fan of Zima, Lilith, and, you know...
I'm a 90s kid. Of course, I love Zima. I saw the ad for it, and
you're a real alcoholic, Lil. Zima.
She's a Zima girl. Look, Zima was just ahead of its time, and I recognize that.
We had that discussion. I agree with you. Some time traveler brought it back, and they were like, "Oh, they just weren't ready for it." But it'll be back. 2045. Zima will have a resurgence.
Honestly, I'm surprised whoever owns. Actually, Budweiser owns the rights to Zima, and they actually did try to bring it back. They just didn't.
Like the
it's you got to play it right.
We have Silvers now. It's not a new fresh idea.
What the problem is that Zima as a brand isn't good. So the product is good because that's essentially what Smirnoff Ice did. Because that ain't vodka, just so you know. That has nothing to do with Smirnoff. What you're drinking when you drink a Smirnoff Ice, that's literally a Bartles and James wine cooler that they now, got the blue out of. And so, yeah, it's just the problem that it's a bad brand. It's a bad brand, and you can't sell it. What are you going to do?
All right, let's move on. Lilith, have you been watching the Harley Quinn, the recent episodes? Oh.
No. I'm like, I told you, I try to wait to finish.
Okay,
I'm like halfway through it or
real
whatever.
quick synopsis this season, like the villain, Batman's missing. The villains have basically taken over Gotham. Last week, Harley and Ivy go to whatever college it is to like try to kill the Riddler. He's like running the college, the university now, and they get help from guess who? Barbara Gordon, who puts. Well, she puts on the Burnside suit at the end of the episode. But it's funny because like I guess Gordon, her dad's given up, so like he's like living with her in the dorm now.
Okay,
he's like eating junk, just eating junk food, shirtless. You know.
Is this like No Man's Land but without an earthquake? What is
kind of yeah?
Is this Ford to Gotham Drop Dead? I mean, what is this? Was one Batman enough to destroy an entire city? Is that literally?
It was the War of the Rogues. Oh, and then
you DC people and your stories. They're just.
Oh, but Lilith. Then today's episode, they introduced Cat.
Have fun, adult fun. Jesus, if I had to sit through one more PG movie, I was gonna off myself.
Talking about angry drunks. Jeez.
Caring for another human being that isn't myself.
But no, in today's episode, we got a Catwoman. So we got a Harley Poison Ivy Catwoman adventure. They were trying to break into a museum and steal an artifact. We
got a little Gotham Siren preview, exactly. Which should have been the movie, not Birds of Prey. Cool.
So yeah, so the animated series is superior to that horrible movie. Yes, true.
As with most things in DC.
Well, here's what I'll say: DC is very good at limboing under bars. So when they clear it, it's a triumph.
Because I mean, you want to go.
I don't know if it's a triumph because it's really low now. They have to be Hermes.
Dig underground. Get under that part.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys hear the news? Oh, well, supposed news about Zack Snyder and DC finally being over.
I thought it already was.
Their relationship is over.
I'm sorry, they had a relationship.
Like official.
Yeah, we know what kind of relationship that was, man.
I mean, not for nothing. It's like, wow, I thought that was like Josh Tranks and Marvel's relationship. I didn't think there was.
I don't know. DC puts up with a lot of crap. That's all that I'm going to say. I will say Warner Brothers Studios put up with a lot of crap.
Fair enough. And that is arguably to their credit.
So what was this relationship? They spent one horrible night together. DC woke up in the morning like, Ugh!
He would have just shut the hell up about that. Oh, it's a working cut. Nobody's going to spend $20 million on a working cut to release the Snyder cut. So it was just really like, I was just waiting on this. Like, okay.
To be fair, Phil, they spent like 4 nights together.
True.
This was an ongoing thing. They had gone through the first 3 dates. They had a regular Thursday night thing. And then DC decided they just weren't that into him. And,
No, he decided he was the cutest one in the relationship and that he could do what he wanted. That's how that happened. That's a more apt analogy.
Yeah, that's never a good assumption in any relationship.
Oh, there you go, Lil. I need you to send me a drop that says, I do what I want. Let me a clean one. Anyway, but
yeah, when the armadillos aren't standing on the box.
Hey-oh! Oh, good Lord. But yeah. So yeah, Josh Trank was one bad night. Yeah, Zack Snyder was 4. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of chances. DC thought they could change him. Oh no, he's got so much potential. He can be a good man. We're gonna really make him rise to the occasion. We're gonna marry him. We're gonna say, Zachy, you're our baby. You're our one true. It's the Harley Joker story all over again. Harley is DC. Zack Snyder is the Joker. Everybody loves the Joker. Everyone's like, "Oh, Joker, you're the best." But Harley's like, can't we just have a nice night with you, me, and the hyenas?
Whoa.
Pudding. DC's like just all putting in up to Zach, and Zach's like, "Oh, I'll do whatever I feel I like to." Also, why won't you release my Snyder Cut?
Sorry.
And eventually,
because it's a
Sorry.
trend that nobody really
Sorry,
wants.
James.
I feel like honestly, the trend was. I've said this from the beginning. It's a working print. It was never going to happen. And the more that you guys clamored for it, the more pissed.
And eventually Harley left Joker. And eventually DC left Snyder.
Goodbye.
Because they said... Now,
Sorry,
my
Tyler.
question is...
Sorry, Tyler. Goodbye, Snyder Cut.
Here's my question. Who did Wonder Woman?
Hey, Steve Trevor.
No. The director.
Patty Jenkins.
Is Patty Jenkins Poison Ivy? Is Patty Jenkins the one who said, DC, you don't need that abusive thing in your life. Let me show you what a relationship can be.
See how Wonder Woman 2 comes
out.
Then.
I am psyched about Wonder Woman 2. I've said this before. I think it really threads its needles, and
crazy.
I'm ready for it.
Honestly, she should have been the one to direct Birds of Prey.
Yes,
I think it would have came out a little better. It definitely needed some more smoothing around the edges.
A little forced. I mean, I think that's what everyone said. You know what? Birds of Prey is like a good Trank's Fantastic Four, where there's a lot of notes and a lot of stuff in it.
Burn.
But like, what I'm going to say is that that's to the director's credit. I think it came out well because, quite frankly, the director was able to take all of this stuff they had and make it into something at least passable.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it was as good as it could have been if you had a Patty Jenkins directing it. I think that is basically what everyone has said since Wonder Woman. It's like, gee, if they'd let Patty Jenkins do it, it would have been better. Like, it's all good stuff, but Patty Jenkins could have made it better. And
I feel like she gets it. You know what I mean? Like, some people, they think they get it, that they're egomaniac and they think they get it, and that their vision is the only right path for modern take on a character.
And how is that not the Joker? DC's problem is DC is Harley Quinn, and it's looking for a new Joker.
Matt Reeves doesn't show his bad saying like they get from the Batman. He has some issues too, but he's a good director. But he has his issues that need to be worked around. I hope they have a good handler. Yeah. That's all that I'll say about that.
Hey, I know there's nothing new, but did anyone read any new to you comics this week?
You know what I almost did?
Oh, good job.
Because I finally found
corner.
I finally found. Hey, Tristan.
Boy,
give me. I found Count Crowley 4, and it was all ready to read it, and I didn't get the chance to. In my defense, I have been like fighting freaking hay fever, like you wouldn't believe. The freaking oak flowers are out. My one weakness.
There's been so much traffic and construction between the kitchen and the living room.
Dude, oak flowers don't care that you're inside the house.
I know.
I mean, no, dude, you don't. Don't even get me started on freaking hay fever. It is a disease. It's like I am constantly wondering. I am sitting here all the time going, okay, please just be hay fever. Please just be hay fever. Don't be coronavirus, because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
It's seasonal allergies. You're not going to die like Ray. Come on.
Well, yes. Well, except that there's also a disease that looks a lot like my normal seasonal allergies, which are awful.
Get the look. Yeah.
So it's like, every morning I wake up and I'm tired and I'm sick and I feel warm and I keep on coughing and that doesn't feel good. but I'm guessing it's a productive cough, so it's probably not the bad thing.
Yeah.
No, and not for nothing. Like I said, my wife works in a hospital. She tells me, it's like, yeah, people survive it. They survive it living on oxygen for the rest of their lives. But yeah, they survive it, you know. So if you want to go in as a 30-year-old and leave as a 64-year-old, great. There you go. If we die, we die.
And there is one new book everybody should have read because it was free and it was digital.
Batman: The Adventures Continue, number 2.
Yeah.
No DC Comics. Lost on Planet Earth, number 1. It was if you have like Amazon Prime or Comixology Unlimited or Kindle Unlimited, it's totally free.
Okay.
It was called, and it's by Magdalene.
No. I'm just gonna say, when you say if you have the paid service and it's free on the paid service, it's not technically free.
A lot of people have Amazon.
I do have Amazon Prime, so it's entirely.
And a lot of people have. If you can look in the comic book section, or if you obviously you have a Kindle, right?
Well, I didn't even know.
Should be like on the front page. So,
I didn't even know. What's the name of this again?
Lost on Planet Earth, number 1. If you read the comic Vagrant Queen, or you're a fan of Kim and Kim and Eternity Girl, like I'm familiar with her, and then her audience, Claudia Aguri. It's a cool little book. It's about a girl that's graduating and she's getting assigned to it's kind of like Star Trek vibes, but good Star Trek vibes. The early days before they infuriated.
I'm easily infuriated.
Page on a ship, you know. Artwork was stunning, and the story's relatable. I'm like I said, I like the writer and the
Is it
artist.
like a
So I'm like familiar with their work, so I thought it was really good.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be an ongoing, but it's billed as a Comixology.
Okay, because I was going to say I got it
original.
Yeah,
so
let's check this out. So it was good, Lilith. Oh, look, there's the comic Charlie didn't read.
I browsed it. It's still cool. I cannot wait to talk more about it.
What is it, number 4? You said Count Crowley number 4.
Count Crowley number 4. I didn't get 3, and so now my life will be a quest to find 3. But yes, Count Crowley. I have enjoyed it up until this point. Mm-hmm. Everything I've looked at this because I've done the half read. We jump to the beginning, jump to the end, and like, oh wow, that's cool, and it's like cool from back to front. So unless it sucks in between, it is awesome. And then this, I actually realized I'd probably already read, which is Mighty Mascots. So, but that was cool. There's still like my alternate comics, Mighty Mascots.
Ooh, nice.
Can I just say that I think the silver lining of the coronavirus is I see a lot of my favorite little guys get love, like that would like honestly not even be reviewed if this wasn't going on. Like Action Lab Comics had Sweetheart number 2 out. It got a lot more traction than number 1 ever did, as well as 3, just because there's and
a lot of comics are getting discovered. I mean, hell, would Tiger King be as big as it was if it wasn't for coronavirus? As big?
Yeah. Tiger King. It's kind of. I mean, it.
Want to, but like 10 minutes to the first episode, like, well, I'm finishing this today. Nothing else.
Because of coronavirus, I watched it, but it would have been just as big. It's like there's so many things that were big that I have no idea. Like whatever this Serial podcast is, and like several other like killer things, like everyone's all the killer thing, and it's like, or like Game of Thrones was a thing, and I watched like maybe 1 or 2 of those, but eventually, like after 8 seasons, I said, okay, I guess I'll watch a Game of Thrones episode. But yeah, there are things that get big without people all watching it, and so I think with Tiger King, it just happened to be big at the time that a lot more people could watch it. So I watched it, but I'd know all the memes even without it,
So the question is,
Matt Penn did a theory on it, and I fell asleep halfway through it, so I don't know.
Daddy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't
fell
watched it
asleep.
yet.
I
Don't
don't
spoil it.
know if
We love
the tiger can eat the bones, and I know it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good at the time that I fell asleep.
No, honestly, the acidity in the tiger's stomach is high enough to dissolve the bone.
Kristen, Lilith was talking about bone.
Well, that's the essential question that Matt Pat tries to answer. And I fell asleep, and you obviously fell asleep too. So maybe we'll have to rewatch that theory after the show is done.
Next week, because I saw it on my feed. I'm like,
to let you know, this is the advantage of coronavirus: is that Tristan knows who Tiger King is and the plot line of Carol Baskin feeding her husband. So what I will say is that Tiger King has gotten the advantage of children who are stuck at home getting to watch it as their parents do. And husbands who are stuck at home having to watch it with their wives. So, or wives stuck at home having to watch it with their husbands. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different financial structures.
I haven't watched it yet. No,
You haven't watched Tiger King?
No, Phil still gets to go out to go to work.
On Sunday, watch Tiger King. You have to binge Lego Masters because I think this past Wednesday was their season finale.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
almost there. I'm in like
Star Wars episode. It was phenomenal. Lego Masters. And then the final is on our DVR, so we have to watch it. Lego Masters is awesome. Yeah. It's like if you like cooking shows but you don't want to eat dessert, it's a great show.
Oh, Lilith, you know what's coming on tonight? Did you see? I guess AMC. I don't know if they're gonna do it every Friday night, but tonight at 10, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his wife are doing like a talk show from their house, and I think is it Jensen Ackles who's going to be one of their guests on tonight? What?
Is it like that?
No. They're gonna like I guess Zoom with guests or whatever. Because I think it's Jensen Ackles is going to be on there.
Oh, but if Jared's not there, the J3s don't fight again.
I was looking at the schedule. I think it's only a half an hour, but yeah, 10 o'clock tonight, AMC. Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his wife doing a talk show.
I love Jeffrey Dean. I wish he was, but he is apparently sometimes to work with, so I get it.
He's hard to work with. Oh, so many actors like that.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching something on YouTube that was talking about Mike Myers and that he was difficult to work with, but it was only on the decisions that made the movie better. So it's like, well, outside of the Love Guru, we don't talk about the Love Guru if you're a Mike Myers fan. We don't talk about that.
Oh,
everything
Mike
else,
Myers is hard to work with except when someone wants. So basically, so he's like your classic creator. Yeah, he needs an editor. He's like Jack Kirby. You know?
No, it's not that. Like for Bohemian Rhapsody and Wayne's World, they didn't want to use that song. He fought for it.
Wait, so he does have good ideas, or he like?
Absolutely, all the ideas that like made people mad were the things that made the actual movie turn out better.
Okay.
So.
Okay, no, I'm trying to understand.
There we go.
Not for nothing, Lilith. As much as you are the queen of the armadillos, I think they're sometimes working against you. Just going to plant that seed for my event domination of the world. But okay, so yeah, that makes sense to me. That Mike Myers has great, brilliant comic ideas that a lot of people, of course, and that's the problem for a guy like Mike Myers is. When he has a good idea and it's great, everyone remembers the good idea that was great. No one ever remembers the drinking poo joke in Austin Powers because no one fought him on it. And it's
to be fair, I love that joke. Coffee's a little nutty.
Okay, so now we see that generational divide. I'm sorry. I am not a big fan of fecal phages. I don't find it funny.
How about new?
Anyway.
Anywho.
Hey, can I throw out some comics?
Sure.
Well,
get them out of here. Put them in the recycling.
I've been very. Did you say throw them in the recycling? I don't know.
Yes.
But yes, Batman digitally this week. Batman: The Adventures Continue #2. We get the conclusion to that Batman Lex Luthor story, and Lilith. If you haven't been checking it out, I think they're introducing Jason Todd into the animated series universe. Okay. And when I went to the store, I got Volume 1 of Batman and Robin Adventures. It's the first 10 issues of that. It's I mean, again, I think it's from the 90s, but it's really good. Lilith, you'll appreciate this. Issues 1 and 2, a Two-Face two-parter. Yeah. But yeah, so much classic goodness in here. You know, the Two-Face two-parter, and then you get a Riddler story, get Joker in this, Penguin trying to set some exotic birds free at the zoo. So much good stuff. There's a great Scarface and ventriloquist story. Oh,
what is Penguin an animal rights activist in this story? Are they trying to like Catwoman Penguin?
Only for the birds that aren't real.
Yeah, I think Penguin works better as someone who wants to cage birds. That's just my take on him.
Yes. But Lilith issue 8, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and they have Poison Ivy's taking control of Dick Grayson Robin. I mean, she has him like massaging her feet, like shirtless.
Who wrote this? Joss Whedon?
I mean, you know what Poison Ivy's here for, right?
I'm here
for foot rubs.
Dick Grayson. Yeah.
Or foot rubs. Honestly, I don't necessarily see that the Dick Grayson and the foot rub
Dick Grayson
is
was rubbing her feet.
Well, yeah, he's rubbing her feet. Yeah. We don't know. He might have taken off his shirt himself. It's like, let me take off my shirt. Help my rubbing of your feet. Yeah, just rub the damn feet. You know, it's just like, I do this in heels, buddy. Just rub the feet. Do your job.
Then he says,
"Why did I hypnotize you again?"
Look at the butt. Oh my God! Oh, Lilith, issue 9, Barbara Gordon versus Talia al Ghul.
Okay, but like if Barbara doesn't get decimated, it doesn't make sense. So.
Talia.
If doesn't like get her butt handed to her, it doesn't make sense. She's not that good.
It makes sense. And then it leads into issue 10 with Batman and Robin and a Ra's al Ghul story. Yeah. Batman and Robin Adventures, Volume 1. I think it's digital too. I think. Like I was looking like DC and it might be Comixology. Yeah, I think they have like all these digitally there, like separate issues and like the trades. I think. I was looking. They got a ton. It was the Batman Adventures, then it went to Batman and Robin Adventures, and then there's like Batman Gotham Adventures. You know, like based on that last season. You know, when Dick's Nightwing and stuff. That one went the longest. That one was like 60 issues. I was like, really? 60. That's like the length of the Quasar series. Jeez.
Okay. What about our Quasar podcast?
Poor Quasar.
What about our Quasar podcast?
It's got to be longer. I need a full-length one.
Where's my pink articles? Wait a minute. Oh, another show that I'm about to get obsessed with is that Ultimate Tag Show. And then I was like, wait a minute. Was American, which is basically just American Gladiators ripoff. I'm like, wait a minute. Was American Gladiators always just Ultimate Tag? And I was just too young to realize?
Lilith, if this man didn't already have a woman, you and Ray would be perfect for each other. Because did you see the last comment he put? I said 60 issues. He says needed 9 more issues. Sometimes I swear,
he's not
Ray is like
wrong.
a weird, like foreign, like combination of you and me. It's weird. It's very weird.
So,
Ray,
are we talking about TV shows that we're watching right now?
Yep.
So, shows I'm torturing my child with.
That should be
Briscoe County Jr.
Oh, good lord!
It's just good parenting.
Like
first of all,
yeah, I knew you would.
The brainwashing work.
That is good parenting. Don't let anybody tell you anything.
Yeah, the first episode, because it's an hour and a half, because it's a TV movie, it was very long. It was very long, and you felt like, how many are we going to watch the entire series tonight, Dad? And so that was a bit long for him. After that, the more 45-minute snippets are a little more manageable. But no, he's enjoying it. Lord Bowler finally got, because we just got to episode 2 when. Yeah, he keeps on calling Big Jimmy Neutron in the first episode. But no, it's just a lot of fun. It's great. And then, of course, Future Man. Lilith. No, well, so am I. I'm only up to Haven is real. So I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but it's well worth the trip to get to Haven. And did you watch Trapper's Delight yet? You did? Okay, yes, that has quite the delightful twist at the end. And yeah, Future Man is living up to its earned. Get past the first, and that's the thing about like Future Man. You can't just skip those first like 4 or 5 episodes. You do gotta watch them. They're a hard watch, but it's worth it later. It's like the first like 4 episodes are like the broccoli of this show.
Not quite soft, but not quite hard.
You eat it. Okay, well, Brussels sprouts. Actually, Brussels sprouts are pretty good too. So, honestly, we have evolved vegetables to be much better tasting now. It's very weird that vegetables that used to taste bad now taste good. It's a whole thing. Have a healthy snack. Yeah, but yeah, there's a portion of Future Man that's a little bit hard to get through, but once you get through that, it just takes off. It's, and what it is you're going up the hill on the roller coaster, but you've never ridden a roller coaster before. It's like, oh, what? This thing just goes up like click, 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 click. Crazy. And what is the point of this? Why are we on this ride that just goes click, 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 click? And then it's like, oh, well, this is the top of the hill. No, let's enjoy the show. And yeah, but you got to get to that point.
I agree. It's weird, but in a good way. But you just have to get used to it.
Yes, I've been watching.
Okay,
we'll get more fruits tomorrow. Yeah, but yeah. So Future Man, definitely a thing. Briscoe County Jr. on IMDb. Can watch it for free, kids. Just kind of sit through a commercial or two, which you had to do anyway.
Lilith's out.
I actually have that on.
Yeah.
On Bone VHS, actually.
And it's funny because I'd never actually watched the original movie before. So, like, I always remember Lord Bowler as a much more competent character than in that first movie. And by the second episode, they really make Lord Bowler a much more competent character, much more interesting character. So, there's a lot to be worried about with Lord Bowler in that first hour and a half, where he seems not quite the capable guy he is, but he's just, he's kind of Hank Pym standing next to Reed Richards. It's like you get it in that context, And then you really want to go very complex. You said if Hank Pym was black, totally, it all makes sense, Or to be more specific, if Hank Pym was black in 1868, yes, this all makes sense. This is a completely believable structure that we're observing.
What, this guy smacking his wife around?
Okay. No.
Okay.
It's about...
That's a Hank Pym joke. It's a Hank Pym joke. Come on.
I know, but you have to understand the deeper complexities of that scene and how Hank Pym has evolved as a character since that point. See, that's what people who aren't Hank Pym fans say about Hank Pym.
He does it for the memes.
So long as we get the retweets.
Oh, speaking of social media traffic, I discovered someone posted like a bunch of I guess codes for Marvel digital comics that like didn't expire. So go check out our Facebook page. There was like 3 pages of like codes for free Marvel comics. There was some from like the last few years. There was some like like early ones like like what was it, Hulk? I think it was Hulk #1. Yeah, there was like a Kirby code. It gave you like Fantastic Four #1, Hulk #1. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So. And then there was
no, they aren't like covering up Daryl Hannah's butt in these, are they?
Oh my god! I saw that. I was like, really?
No. It was worse.
No,
that would have actually been kind of cute.
Lilith, listen to Super Connectivity.
Yeah, listen to Super Connectivity, and all your answers will be provided, and they will not make you
like 10-15 minutes. Yes. Probably have to knock it off.
Yeah, this is almost as long as Briscoe County Jr., the first episode now. So.
Boy,
he's telling you to wrap it up.
Right, we out of here.
On that,
what imagine?
All right, so everyone, go through everything but the kitchen sink at you tonight. Email us your thoughts on anything going on in the post-apocalyptic world we live in now. capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow us on social media. Follow the YouTube channel so you can see Charlie Esser's pretty face because no one else has their pretty face on camera. Find it all. Well, me, I know. That goes without saying. But anyway, follow all of that all in one convenient place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support the sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Hunt to Killer, Pod Life the book, now in digital and paperback. And when you buy that and your toilet paper and anything else, use the Southgate Media Group link for Amazon right down there in the show notes, whether it's the podcast, YouTube, it's all down there in the show notes. Send us money. Well, not us, but send it to Rob, Master Doom Southgate, to help bring you fine quality products like the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Go back and look at my history, and you will find out I am right so much more often than I'm wrong. Mark my words.
And yeah, he don't listen. And since he's sat through 2 shows tonight, go check out Ray's show Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast, and it has nothing to Big Bazooka. That's right, Ray. It has nothing to do with that. I'll be on the episode next week or the week after, Ray. Yeah,
the Big Bazooka.
So, yeah, go check out Into the Night and Moon Knight podcast. Lilith Hellfire.
If you'd like to hang out with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, or like the cool kids, out of here, Instagram.
Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in their old-fashioned email way, where Moz and Paws once did, do so on AOL.com. Do so at Charlie Esser, that's CHAR. No, that's not where. At superconnectivityblog at gmail.com. The apple juice is a-flowing. At superconnectivityblog at gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at the gmail.com. And of course, follow me on Twitter as a live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is back as they promise at the end of May. Come and see what will occur.
Okay,
at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you, Moz, and thank you, Tristan, for already saying it.
I know it's a holy holiday for some people, but Lent really ties one arm behind our back, Lilith Hellfire, every year, doesn't it?
Yes.
But for another week in the post-apocalyptic world we live in, we have been your Capes
en passant.
And remember, check out Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. See, Ray, I think he's all right.
No, he's fine.
Very fun and entertaining show, Pete. Thank you, Ray.
You don't usually die of shingles. I'm just saying you can.
The numbers are on your side, Ray, but don't get too cocky about it.
And get your kids vaccinated so they don't get chicken pox.
Yeah.
Because they might die of shingles
Don't let
if you
your kids
don't.
end up like Ray. It's a big bazooka.
How dare you?